Welcome in, everyone, to yet another college basketball conference tournament preview. I'm your host, the big man on campus here on March 6th, 2018. Getting you ready for more conference tournaments, getting going. Hope you're enjoying all the previews. Today, taking a look at the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC, getting going in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the home of the Nets. We welcome in a guest today. I thought I'd include him in. You know him from SBR, the Ice Guys, but he's a big college basketball guy as well. Ian Cameron, how you doing today?
Big man, it's great to be with you on your channel, doing these conference tournament previews, helping you out, lending you a helping hand, I guess you could say, with the Big Sky and the ACC, which is what we're going to be talking about here. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know people will say, well, big man, I mean, there's already game in progress, blah, 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 blah. But listen, but Boston College and Georgia Tech are not going to win this conference. So, I mean, there's no real need to get it out before then. The meat of this tournament is tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. So let's get into it. Obviously, there's a lot of teams in this conference, too many, in my opinion. I don't think there's any need that, frankly, we have, three of these. I mean, does Pittsburgh really belong in this tournament? I mean, they have no business in this tournament. But let's focus on the teams that can win it, and we'll throw in a sleeper as well. Obviously, if you followed along, I've done pretty well in these tournaments. I hit another one with Iona last night. Have LIU Brooklyn at 11-1 tonight, so we're rooting them in. Luckily, we have Wagner as well, so it's a no sweat kind of game. Let's get into it, though. You got Duke as the favorite, plus 173. Virginia, 218. North Carolina, 595. Look, I'll come right out and say it, Ian. I don't have a ton on this conference. I didn't have a ton of the Big 12. I took a shot with Michigan, took a shot with Ohio State. I'm looking towards some of the dogs. But I got to tell you, I think this sets up pretty well for you to make some guaranteed money by taking the favorite, Duke, which, listen, I think Duke could beat Virginia if they get a second shot at them. I thought in the first game, the last game they played in Virginia, I thought or maybe it was Duke, I don't know, wherever it was, Bagley had a great game, and their guards didn't play well. If Duke can get good guard play, like consistent guard play, I think they'll beat Virginia. I think Bagley's too good. I think they're too dynamic. They're a bad matchup for Virginia, in my opinion, because Virginia has no way of handling Bagley or Wendell Carter. If you could just get some competent guard play, and I mean good guard play, they were really poor in that game, Allen, Trent, and Duval. I think at the bottom of the bracket, it's hard for me to envision anyone beating Duke. The only team I could see doing it is Notre Dame. Can Notre Dame win 5 games in 5 days? Unlikely. Very difficult to do. Could they do it? Sure. I mean, I think they could beat Virginia Tech. I think they give Duke a game. It's just so difficult by that Friday, Saturday mark. I'm going to go Duke. I think they win this conference ultimately, but I will take Virginia as well. I'll kind of, arbitragely or whatever it is, arbitrage it and try to get a little profit here. Maybe go a little bit bigger on Duke. Have Virginia as well. I'm not in love with this conference. I don't see any crazy runs. The only team I would consider, and I think you would agree here, Ian, NC State. What do you think about the Wolfpack?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of sleepers, I've got 2 in mind in terms of sleepers in this conference. I think you can go back and forth in terms of the tournament champion between Virginia and Duke. I was doing that. I mean, I was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I keep going back to the fact Virginia was just so incredibly impressive with that win on the road at Cameron Indoor during the regular season. So splitting hairs, but I went with Virginia as my ACC tournament champion, although Duke certainly playing good at the right time. They've had a good last week or two. Impressive second half against North Carolina. They absolutely rolled the Tar Heels in the second half, played complete basketball, both ends of the court. Can you guard somebody if you're Duke? That's going to be the key. Can you defend and bring that high level at that end of the court moving forward? That's going to really tell the tale, big man, for Duke going forward. So I went with Virginia, but it's splitting hairs. I could have easily picked Duke as well. But for sleepers, I'm glad you brought up NC State. They are one of my sleepers. Kevin Keatts is no stranger to tournament play, whether it's conference tournament play, NCAA tournament play, and he's very, very good at this time of year. And NC State is a team that has marquee, impressive wins already on their resume inside conference play this season. So I won't discount that NC State team from making a run here in this ACC tournament. They get an okay draw. They're going to open up in the second round on Wednesday. They're one of those teams in that second round that I think could go deep into this tournament as the 5 seed. Notre Dame is my other sleeper. I know, and I've taken a little stab at them to win this tournament at really, really good odds. And I know it's tough. 5 games in 5 days. Nobody's done that in the history of the ACC tournament. That is the impediment against Notre Dame here. But Bonzie Colson's back. Matt Farrell's healthy again. You look at this team with those 2 guys back on the floor. With Bonzie Colson on the floor, I believe they're 11-4 this season, and without him, they had a below 500 record. Tells you all you need to know about how important he is. The glue guy, the senior forward for this Notre Dame team under Mike Bray. He's back now. I think they're going to be a team to watch out for. So for me, I like Virginia to win the conference, big man. Notre Dame, even though the odds are stacked against them, I like the price. I wouldn't put it past them to make a deep run. Notre Dame and NC State, for me, my sleepers that could do some damage in this tournament.
Yeah, NC State is a dynamic team just because they do run that press. Kevin Keats brought that over from Wilmington. That's going to bother teams. Games, right on top of each other. Plus, they have one less game. I think for me, you're getting better prices on NC State at 28-1, and they have one less game. I think that's kind of interesting. I can get 28-1 on NC State and 25-1 on Notre Dame. Does that make any sense? I don't get that at all. I think NC State is a favorable matchup. I think they'll beat Clemson. Obviously, it's can they beat Virginia? That's the big question. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Duke. I think they're going to win this conference. In the final, if they get there and it's against Virginia, and if I really wanted to, I could hedge out. I don't know that I will. I'm also going to take NC State at 28-1, and I will be very small on Notre Dame. I agree totally with you. I've mentioned for weeks now. I've been waiting and hoping that Bonzie Colson would come back. I thought they were fantastic against Virginia. Didn't think they got a lot of calls late in that game. Thought they could have won it. They're going to have to win a couple games here. I think for me, for Notre Dame, I think you got to win at least 3 games in this tournament. You got to find a way to maybe try to beat Duke or I don't know. I don't know that Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh are really going to move the needle a ton, especially with how good the bubble is this year. So yeah, I'll go official picks. I'm going to take NC State at 28-1, and I'm going to go with the Duke Blue Devils at what do we got? Plus 173. Not great, but I like the bottom of their bracket. I think if they got UNC again, they'd beat them. So there's not a ton of value. I'm not a huge fan of these big time conferences. I think there's some value in the Big East, which we'll get to later in the week. But Ian Cameron, you got to kind of look deep in these. I don't like Clemson. I'm not a Virginia Tech guy. UNC, I think, is a fraud. I've said that all season. It's Duke, Virginia. Maybe an outside shot with NC State. I think they're kind of positioned in this bracket the right way. So officially, I'll go Duke plus 173, and I'll take NC State 28-1. Ian Cameron, what do you like officially here?
Yeah, and I mentioned it. Virginia to win the tournament, Notre Dame, NC State as sleepers, and I'm going to throw in a couple game spots that I'll be looking to bet in this tournament. Just from the way the bracket shakes out, things that I'll be looking at doing. I'll be looking at fading North Carolina, really, in that game tomorrow. It doesn't matter who they play. I'll be looking to fade them if it's Syracuse, if it's Wake Forest. I think North Carolina is not a team I'll be trusting to lay points. There's, of course, the running gag that Roy Williams doesn't care one bit about the ACC tournament. He just wants to get back on the golf course for his next tee time. That's been the running joke for years about him. So North Carolina, to me, team I'll be looking to fade in this tournament. I will be looking to back Notre Dame against Virginia Tech tomorrow. I think that's going to be a good matchup for them. They should roll Pittsburgh this afternoon. It's a nighttime game tomorrow, so fatigue, throw that crap out the window. That's non-factor to me. They'll be fine, and they'll be ready to give Virginia Tech all they can handle, and I think they can beat Virginia Tech. And then if NC State wins their first game, I will be all over them to take down Clemson in that next game. They will beat Clemson. You got a huge coaching edge, I think, with Keats over Brownell. I think NC State, the better team, the better coach team, the deeper team, they will take down Clemson. So for me, I'll look to fade North Carolina. I'll look to back Notre Dame against Virginia Tech, and I will look to back NC State against Clemson because I believe they're winning that first game, and they will move on and also knock down and take out Brad Brownell's Clemson Tigers.
Like it. I think we all will agree. Pretty top heavy. Probably see a winner out of Duke or Virginia. We also like NC State, both of us as sleepers. That has been the ACC preview. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll be back later. Ian Cameron and I will be back in a little here for the Big Sky tournament. I think we're a little bit more excited for that tournament as opposed to the ACC. That's what we do here. Small conference college hoops. Everyone have a great day. As always, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you like in the ACC. And hope you cash all your tickets. Good luck. Conference tournaments. We keep it going with a Big Sky coming at you right after this one. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Ian.
Good luck, everyone.